time I'm waiting you to answer the phone. Nothing seems to happen, but the last stage is gone. I hope somewhere your voice promises less and us more, but still my pillow's on the floor. Anyone could say that we are never assured for things we're.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Legal World. Myself Dr. Seema Goyal. Today I am going to start a series on the drafting, pleading and conveyancing. In this video, I am going to discuss each and every fact about the pleading, object of pleading, as well as fundamental rules of pleading. As we know, in the legal field generally there are three terms which are used, that is pleading, drafting and conveyancing. Here the term pleading means statement of facts in writing, drawn up and filed by the each party in the case stated therein, that is given in the pleading. His contentions at the trial, giving all such information or details as his opponent needs to know to prepare his case, that is stated in the pleading. In order to initiate the proceedings in the court of law, every plaintiff needs to prepare a document that is called plaint. Order 6, Rule 1 of the Civil Procedure Code provides the term pleading, as pleading means plaint or written statement. But this definition is not sufficient in itself. Thus, we can explain the term pleading in the certain clauses. A statement of claims is generally known as plaint, wherein the plaintiff sets out his cause of action with all the necessary particulars. Second, in order to seek the assistance of the court of law in any matter, each party, whether it may be plaintiff or it may be defendant, needs to prepare a statement of his claim and also the facts on which his claim are founded. Thirdly, the pleading is an art of writing or drafting a legal document, that is called plaint, which requires not only the technical or linguistic skill but also requires the expert having the knowledge of law concerning that point. Thus, the pleading is a foundation stone of all the kinds of litigations, as it is not possible for the court of law to do justice unless and until the court of justice is fully aware about the claims and contentions of the plaintiff and the counterclaim and the defenses made by the defendant. Thus, in a pleading, every matter, how clearly and systematically the facts have been presented before the court of law. Finally, we can say that a statement of claim is called a plaint, in which plaintiff sets out his cause of action. Finally, we can say that a statement of claim is called the plaint, in which the plaintiff sets out his cause of action with all the necessary facts and details needed to the opponent to know the case in answer. While a statement of defense, that is called written statement or the WS, in which defendant or the respondent deals with every material fact alleged by the plaintiff in the plaint and also sets new facts favoring him, adding such legal objections as he want to take to the claim. Hence, the pleading is a submission of the parties in which they narrate the facts and the relief for their cause. A plaintiff's pleading is generally known as plaint after the application for the plaint is granted by the court, and the defendant's pleading generally known as written statement or the WS. Pleader means any person who is entitled to appear and plead for another in the court of law, including an advocate, vakil, lawyer, or an attorney of a high court. They all are coming under the category of pleader, as described by section 2 clause 15 of the Civil Procedure Code. If we talk about the purpose of the pleading, main purpose of the pleading, that is to narrow the parties to definite issues for the purpose of testimony required for proving their claim. Second, prevent the other party from being caught by the surprise at the time of hearing. Third, know the basis of one's claim or the defense through which the opponent can meet the claim or the defense himself, and to avoid making a new case not pleaded by the party, and to determine the real issues between the parties, and to avoid deviation from course of litigation. These are the certain points which are discussing the object of the pleading. If we talk about the fundamental rules of pleading, Order 6, 7, and 8 of the Civil Procedure Code deals with the pleading. Order 6 deals with general rules of pleading, and Order 7 defines the term plaint, and Order 8 defines WS or the written statement. Fundamental rules of pleading as prescribed by Order 6 of CPC are: every pleading must state, number 1, facts not law. Second, state the material facts and the material facts only. Third rule is state only the facts on which the parties pleading relies and note the evidence by which they are to be proved. And state the facts concisely but with precision and certainty. Now I will discuss with these fundamental rules one by one. Firstly, I have discussed the first fundamental rule, that facts not law. If we talk about the facts, facts can be divided under the two parts. One is facts probenda, another is fact probancia. The material facts on which the parties pleading relies are generally called as facts probenda, and these facts must be stated in the pleading, while the evidence or the facts by which they are to be proved, they are generally called as facts probancia, and they should not be stated in the pleading. And they are only relevant facts, not the fact in issue. And in order to establish the facts in issue, they will be proved at the time of trial. If we talk about the second fundamental rule of pleading, that is material facts and the material facts only. Every pleading must state the facts probenda and not the facts probancia. Material facts only on which the parties pleading relies must be stated in the plaint. Omit the immaterial and unnecessary facts. Section 6 clause 2 of the CPC lays down this rule. It says that the fact which is essential to the plaintiff's cause of action or to the defendant's defense, which each party must prove or failed, called the material facts. Hence, fact is material for the pleading of a party which he is bound to prove at the time of trial, unless admitted by the other party, before he can succeed in his claim or the defense. For example, when a plaintiff sue in the court of law, on the basis of title, he must state the nature of the deed from which he derived title. Second, the plea that a woman claiming the maintenance has lost her right of maintenance due to the fact that she is living in adultery should be specifically raised in the pleading. Thirdly, where the plea is based on the custom, it must state the custom in the precise form on which parties pleading relies, and all the contents of the documents which are material must be briefly as possible without satisfying out the whole or any part thereof. So all the material facts must be stated with precision and not in argumentation way. If we talk about the third rule of pleading, that is facts not evidence. Means Order 6 Rule 2 says that every pleading must contain a statement of facts that must be material, but not the evidence by which they are to be proved. Material facts on which the parties pleading rely, they are generally called as facts probenda, and the evidence and the facts by which they are to be proved, they are known as facts probancia. And every pleading must contain the facts probenda and not the facts probancia, as later they are not the facts in issue but only the relevant facts which need to be proved at the time of trial in order to establish the facts in issue. In cases where the time is not essential to the contract, it is sufficient to allege that the work was done within a reasonable time in that behalf. We talk about the last rule of pleading, that is every pleading must be concise, precise and certain. Means last rule says that pleading is that the material facts should be stated in the pleading in the concise form with precision and certainty. Order 6 Rule 4 of the CPC says that in all the cases in which parties pleading relies on any fraud, coercion, misrepresentation, breach of trust, willful default, etc., and in which particulars with dates and items, if necessary, must be stated in the pleading. And every pleading must be concise and precise. In case there are more than one item, then each item must be pleaded separately in a separate paragraph. And all the particulars must be stated in the pleading, if necessary, even if they are lengthy. So each party should state the whole case with brevity and precision by avoiding the unnecessary facts and details with proper language alleging the materials. And names of the parties should be given accurately and correctly spelled. And pronouns like he, she, they, etc. should be avoided, should not be stated in the pleading. And the plaintiff and the defendant should not be referred by their names only. They can be called as the plaintiff or the defendant, or the plaintiff number one or the defendant number one, in case there are more than one plaintiff and more than one defendant. And the things should be given their correct name, and by the same name throughout the whole pleading that must be stated. For example, it is not proper to call some property as land with the trees at one place and grave at the other place. They must be stated in the whole of the pleading by the same name. In a suit on plaint, on the basis of statute, of the language of the statute should be used. In a suit on plaint, on the basis of statute, the language of the statute must be used, and facts should be alleged completely and plainly. And using the words like if, but, etc. should be avoided if possible. And the complex sentences should also be avoided if possible. And the facts must be stated in the active voice, so the passive voice should be avoided. For example, it is better to say the plaintiff paid the defendant's money instead of using defendant's money was paid by the plaintiff. So the pleading should be divided into the separate paragraphs, and every fact must be stated in a separate paragraph if possible. Repetition should be avoided. Section 26 of the Civil Procedure Code laid down that every fact, every suit is to be instituted by presentation of the plaint. Section 26 of the CPC lays down that every suit must be instituted in the court of law by instituting or presenting a plaint. In every pleading, and the facts are to be proved by the affidavit. So every pleading must be annexed with the affidavit. And every pleading should comply with the rules laid down in the Order 6, Rule 7. And the particulars of the suit has to be entered in the book kept in the court. That is called register of suit. And a suit is instituted when the plaintiff is presented in the court of law, and when the suit is registered, and that is given the suit number. So these were all the fundamental rules of pleading. And if you have any doubt, you must put down in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel for the further update. Thank you.